Today I want to teach you that to have deep ideas about a character, it helps to study that person's relationship with others. What's the person like in one relationship or in another? How does a character act around other characters? So let's think about some of the relationships the characters in our books have. Then we can think, how is this helping me to get to know the main character even better? Let's practice with a few books that we know. Let's look at the book, The Stories Julian Tells. We know a little bit about Julian because of his relationships with other people. But do we then say, okay, now I know all there is to know about Julian? No way. I'm going to read from the book, and I want you to watch Julian when he is with his little brother Huey, because that should show us a bit about Julian. Let me start at the part where Huey and Julian begin to eat the pudding. I want you to notice that I didn't start at the beginning of the book. Instead, I found a part of the text where Julian and Huey are doing something that I thought would be good to research. If I just put my finger in there, I'll know how it tastes, Huey said, and he did it. You did it, I said. How does it taste? It tastes like a whole raft of lemons, he said. It tastes like a night on the sea. You've made a hole in the pudding, I said. But since you did it, I'll have a taste. And it tasted like a whole night of lemons. It tasted like floating at sea. It's such a big pudding, Huey said. It can't hurt to have a little more. Since you took more, I'll have more, I said. That was a bigger lick than I took, Huey said. I'm going to have more again. What are you thinking? Remember, sometimes it helps to read a little and then pause and start thinking. So far, I'm thinking that they get along pretty well. Sometimes Julian acts older, but sometimes he doesn't. Like here in this part, where the two of them are eating the pudding together. They are both acting, would you say, mischievous? Julian is being the opposite of a responsible older brother, isn't he? Instead, it's like he and little Huey are partners in crime. Do you agree? Readers, can you do the same work that we just did with Julian and Huey, but this time with the dad? What's the first step? First, we need to skim the book and find a part that shows Julian and his dad. I'm going to help you with this part because I don't know if you have a copy of the book in front of you. Let's read from page 12. Page 12 is when Julian's father is mad at the boys about eating all of the pudding. Now what? Oh yes, now we have to reread that part. And what are we thinking about as we reread? Well, this time we want to think about how Julian interacts with his father. What do you have to tell me? He said. We went outside, Huey said, and when we came back, the pudding was gone. Then why were you hiding under the bed? My father said. We didn't say anything. We looked at the floor. I can tell you one thing, he said. There is going to be some beating here now. There is going to be some whipping. The curtains at the window were shaking. Huey was holding my hand. Go into the kitchen, my father said, right now. We went into the kitchen. Readers, when you research relationships, you can do your own thinking. I have some hard questions for you. First, is Julian's relationship with his dad all good, or is there something less than perfect about it? And next, How is it like or unlike the relationship other characters you know have with their parents? You may be thinking that Julian is very respectful of his dad, and Julian knows when he has done something wrong. Julian pretty much said nothing back to his father, or maybe he should have done something. And no, he's nothing like Junabe Jones. That would be an interesting friendship. Readers, do you see how thinking about the relationships in a book helps you know and say even more about your characters? It can really help you push your thinking about them. Different relationships will show you different things, often about your characters.